Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adoption of Breakdown with me, John, your host. I'm adopted, and I talk about adopted stuff and other stuff I like to talk about too. In one of my other videos, I mentioned joining a Enneagram Type 9 group on Facebook, and not sure how many of y'all put stock into the Enneagram, but there's stuff about it that I like, especially the idea of Type 9s, which is the type that I am, being labeled peacemakers. Because when I look back into my life, that's something that I find consistent with a lot of my behavior. And, it's interesting because it would be kind of cool to see the data on adopted people if they took the Enneagram, and what kind of results different adopted people would get in terms of the Enneagram. Because growing up, having wrestled with adopted things and finding out later in life that I struggle with attachment disorder, looking back, I can see different points in my life where I behaved and interacted with people in a way that was, I don't want to upset the balance. I don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to make anyone mad. I don't want to make people I don't want them to point at me and laugh at me and make fun of me, because that's something I experienced when I was younger. And so growing up, I was like the class clown. And so it's a little different than, people laughing at you. I became the guy that, okay, I don't want people to laugh at me. I want people to laugh with me. And so, in high school and in school and college, and even a little bit today, just because that's just a part of who I am, I was all about really just being a silly guy and just being a guy that could make people smile and people laugh. And in a lot of ways, some people would say that's a defense mechanism for keeping people at a distance. But when you look at like the Enneagram, you could also look at it and see it as a way to keep the peace, as a way to make peace, as a way to, be at peace with my surroundings and be at peace with those around me. If I know that I can make everybody laugh and feel good, then I know things are good. And that's kind of how, as a 9, at least my experience, how I've thought of things. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So I know in a video a while ago I talked about celibacy and being a virgin. And really that just means that I don't plan to get married soon. I don't plan to have sex anytime soon, because as a Christian, I value being a virgin. I value not having sex out of marriage. And that's just who I am. If other people don't do that, I'm not saying that I'm better than you. I'm just saying my personal choice, my personal beliefs is I want to save that for when I'm married. And so in my previous videos, when I called myself celibate, I wasn't saying that I was going to stay celibate, because obviously I'd like to get married. Obviously I'd like to meet a wonderful Christian lady who I like and she likes me. But in order to get to that place, I have to start dating. Dating. Yes. Um, and man, dating is, especially like dating in of itself, dating normally, just in a secular world with no Christianese involved, dating is hard in and of itself. I mean, you have, online dating and, everybody's, on Snapchat, on Tinder, Instagram, all that stuff. But then you throw in like trying to do Christian dating. You have Christian Mingle. I mean, there are other dating apps like Hinge, and there's some other ones I can't remember. But any single person trying to date in 2022, it's going to be hard. And anyone who's also a Christian looking for another Christian to date in this time, it's going to be hard as well. And so, I think I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that I don't have a lot of dating experience. The last lady I dated was in 2018 when I was working on my master's in counseling, and that, I could really go into that in detail on that, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Pretty much what happened was I liked this girl too much. This girl didn't like me enough. I thought things would work out, and she had her own issues. I made a lot of mistakes, and we ended it, and I was big sad, and I dropped out of graduate school, and I was big sad. Why am I getting into a Trump? Why am I getting into a Trump impression? I was big sad. My ex-girlfriend, she dumped me, and the pain was huge. Huge pain. Yeah, okay. I should edit that out, but I'll keep it in. Anyway, so I mentioned a Type 9 group on Facebook I recently joined. And so I was just like, you know what? I don't know if this is the place for this. I'm gonna throw the Type 9 Facebook group this issue. And so this is what I said to them. This is the question I posted in the group. Not sure if this is the place for this question, but here it goes. As a 29-year-old religious virgin, INFP, Myers-Briggs, 9 Wing 1, I find myself for the first time in a long time at peace with my work, my family, and my friends. A lot of bumps on the way for sure, but one area seems to elude me. Dating. I'm just so bad at talking to women I am interested in. But the catch is, considering my personality, I don't want anything shallow or short term. I have also been struggling at the church I go to, simply in trying to even get to the idea of befriending a potential person I like. I just am failing to understand why I struggle so much. I mean, I know it's probably a lot of small things, but I feel so alone and lost in my inability to succeed where so many others already have progressed. So if there are any other 9 Wing 1s who are married or in a serious relationship, I was wondering if I could receive any sort of dating advice. Am I trying too hard? Am I not trying hard enough? Should I try online dating despite avoiding it? Any advice is much appreciated. Thank you. Now, I got quite a few comments, and there were, all of them were good. All the comments were good. I didn't get any comments that were like, "Screw you, you're dumb." Blah blah blah. No, I didn't. I didn't get any of that. I got a lot of informative comments that I've read over and I looked over multiple times since I've posted that comment as a way to like think about what they said, and I was just like, you know what? I think it'd be cool to share some of the information that these people shared with me. So that's what we'll do. So I'm going to go over the comments that people posted, the answers to my question. And I will, if I know how to edit, I'll actually post the screenshots of their posts in the video. But I'm going to edit out their profile pictures and their last names to protect their privacy. You know, I don't want to breach any sort of privacy thing. But do want to give credit to where credit is due. So I did leave their first names in the posts. So I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this exactly. I think what I'll do is I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna read them. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna try to give some time, some space between each one. I know I'm already 11 minutes into this video, so I don't want to make this a super long video, but I always say that. But here we go. Rachel says this. For what it's worth, my husband was a religious virgin, 9-wing-1, when he married me, and he hadn't known me long. We officially met when he was 28 and weren't together till he was 29. In just over a month, we'll celebrate our 22nd anniversary. Obviously, that's not advice, but hopefully it's an encouragement. I find that encouraging. Sure, yeah. I think that's very encouraging. Thank you, Rachel. That is encouraging. Thank you. Thank you. The next person is, I'm probably not going to pronounce some of these names correctly. The next person is Angeli, and she writes, "That's really tough. I'm not entirely sure how to help, except that there is nothing wrong with giving online dating a go. I think sometimes 9s are more open, vulnerable when writing their thoughts out, so maybe talking to someone online first is the way to get you more comfortable in real life. Do you know your instinctual stacking?" Which I don't know what that means. I should have looked that up. "I am a 9-wing-1 and was always kind of the opposite of you. Overly friendly and accused of being too flirty, especially in religious settings, but sometimes if I really was interested in someone, it would make me freeze up, and I couldn't be myself or talk to them comfortably. So I think that is totally normal that you have difficulty in that regard. I got married at 22 and only ever officially dated 2 guys, including my spouse of 11 years now, but had other short flings." Yeah, I don't know what instinctual stacking is. I need to look that up. I think that has more to do with intense, deeper Enneagram stuff. But Angeli, thank you so much. Very insightful. I know we have quite a few more of these to get through, so I'm gonna try to power through these. I'm gonna try to go a little faster. Sorry to the people who posted, but just trying to get everybody in. Just trying to fit everybody in. The next person is Dennis. He says, well, some of these are also shorter too. Dennis says, I am a 9-wing-1 in a long-term relationship. My only advice is that dating sites will give you some practice talking and relating to women if you have limited experience. That may help you feel more relaxed. I also met my partner that way. Okay, yeah, awesome. That's sweet. That is sweet. Very cool. I probably shouldn't say this, but some of my current friends that are in serious relationships now, that are engaged or married, quite a few of my friends met their spouses or future spouses online. So I guess I can't knock it till I try it. The next person that gives advice is Jennifer. Jennifer will go on to say this. One thing that has helped me to develop relationships has just been becoming interested in the other person and asking questions, then remembering how they answer the questions. Everyone wants to be seen and heard. So much of my life I've spent wondering why other people don't reach out to me, and then realizing sometimes I need to start the conversation. Sending hugs, I really feel your pain. Thank you, Jennifer. That's so kind of you. Sending hugs. Virtual hug received. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, asking questions is a very, very important key step to getting to know just anybody. Next, we have Larissa. And Larissa goes on to say this. I can relate to your need for in-depth conversation. As a 9-wing-1 woman, I always appreciate men that are authentic to themselves and honest. I like when they want to get to know me as a person rather than just see me as a potential relationship. Be friends first, get to know women for who they are, show respect, etc. I don't think you should shy away from your in-depth conversations. Instead, embrace it and find someone who is on the same wavelength who also values them. Online dating can be a good tool. You need to sort and filter through a lot, but it can be a pathway to meeting people you wouldn't have otherwise met. It extends outside of your social circle. I'm very rigid when using apps, etc. Like, my profile is honest, and if there is an incompatibility, I unmatch immediately without guilt. Okay, Larissa. Yeah, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, I have used dating apps in the past, but very briefly, and I never really got anywhere with any of them. So, yeah, definitely. The next person to send in a comment is Dasha. And Dasha says, 9-wing-1 here. I do best meeting and getting to know people in structured relationships like work settings, choir, set group, etc., where there is no pressure to make immediate impressions and where there's an opportunity to meet people at the deeper level over time until something more serious sparkles. Okay, Dasha, yeah, I hear you. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your comment. That is helpful. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm not saying their last names. I'm going to listen to this back and make sure I don't say people's last names, because if I do, I'm going to have to edit that out. Jewel, the next person, Jewel, goes on. She writes this. Being introverted makes this really hard. With the person you're thinking about befriending at church, Are you able to make friends with her friends? Less pressure with them, and it gets your foot in the door to encounter her more often. That will put you both in situations that force the two of you to talk. And then she did a smiley, tongue face. You'll see it. You'll see it. Awesome. Thanks, Jewel. Very good advice. And like I said, I'm trying to get through these quick. I don't want this to be a super long video. The next person that shared online is Carissa. She said, I would definitely recommend online dating. You're more likely to find someone that you have a lot of things in common with, which can help things feel more comfortable. As they've mentioned above, it's also good practice. I know it's hard to put yourself out there, but when you go on a date, just take a deep breath, relax, and try to get to know her. Don't say more than is necessary. If that's something you do, I have, and be a good listener. Carissa, that's great advice. That is great advice. I haven't gone on a date in years. The last time I was on anything like a date was in 2017, while I was dating my ex-girlfriend. We went putt-putting. I had 3 hole-in-ones, which, it's putt-putting. It's not hard. I caught her cheating while trying to play putt-putt, and I was like, hey! And then we went to McDonald's because we were both broke graduate students. So, looking back, that may have been a bad sign, bad omen from the get-go. Anywho. Next person that contributed to the conversation is Ashley. Ashley goes on to say this. Sorry. They say it starts off really similar to the last person. I definitely recommend online dating. I met my current fiance through OkCupid. We matched at 93% compatibility. We emailed through the app for a month, then progressed to phone conversations, then finally met in person. I was already hooked and just needed that last puzzle piece to fit. Were we physically compatible? So when he rolled up and kissed me before I even got to say hi, that was it. I was done, lol. But online dating definitely allows you the pace you are comfortable with, and those who are worth it will respect your comfort level. Those who don't can see themselves out. Yes, Ashley, I like that. Ashley. I really do like that progression there. That's something I had not considered. But that's really smart. That makes a lot of sense. And now these next few ones are a bit shorter, but we're gonna fire through these. The next person to contribute is Jolene. Jolene goes on to say, understanding the 5 love languages has helped me to be kinder to myself and more understanding of how others value different things to me. Yeah, I think I mentioned the 5 love languages in one of my earlier videos. 100%. That's super important. Then the next person to give input is Gabby, and she says, I did a lot of online dating. For me, I was able to ask the hard questions to see if they were even worth meeting. Yeah, and that's a good point. When people are online, when people are on social media, it's so easy to just put up a front, to pretend to be someone, to not get really beneath the surface, to get to that deeper stuff. And I like getting into the deep stuff. I like going in. I like being a deep, emotional, mental guy. So thanks, Gabby. Thanks, Jolene. And then the other person that helped, that contributed, is Nita. She says, there is great stuff in here. I'll add in to check out some books on flirting. This will increase your awareness of when you're being flirted with and increase your confidence as you try it. It is an exchange of fun energy and doesn't have to signify anything more than that. You may discover that flirting skills can improve your confidence in meeting others. You know, I like that. I like that, Nita. Yeah, I like that. That reminds me, I don't know if I told this before in the podcast. There was my senior year of college, my senior year of college, 2014, 2015, going on 8 years ago, 7 years ago. The summer before that year, the house I lived in with a bunch of other guys, that was a zoo, by the way. We lived right next to where the track and cross country teams ran outside, like literally just a couple blocks away. And so that summer I ran outside like every day. And for like 12 weeks, I ran outside, and I was in really good shape. I got to a point where I was like doing 20 miles a week outside, about 4 miles for a day for 5 days, and giving myself 2 rest days. And I got to a point where I was down to 200 pounds, and I was in really good shape. Right now, I mean, I've lost almost 30 pounds in the last 3.5 months, and I'm like down to 256. And I feel in good shape right now, but like in college, my senior year, I was like 40, 50 pounds lighter and in more shape than I was now, and I feel good now. But anyway, sorry. So skip ahead to that summer. I was working on a student workers floor crew where we clean floors, and there were other student crews that cleaned other things like janitorial or grounds crew and paint crew and stuff like that. And so every now and then you'd bump into other students on other crews. Sometimes you know them, sometimes you say, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And while our crew was out and about, the floor crew, we bumped into the grounds crew, the other students that did a lot of mowing of the lawns. And there was this one lady who was on the grounds crew who I didn't know, that just came up to me, very attractive young lady. And she said, I'd never met her before. I didn't know her name. She came up to me and she was like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing good." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, hi." And she was like, "I really like your shirt." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, yeah." And she was like, "It's the same shirt I have on right now." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And she went to look down to like show it to me, and she realized it wasn't the same shirt I was wearing. And then she got really embarrassed. Her face got really red, and I could tell her friends that were standing with her were kind of like chuckling under their breath, kind of like trying not to laugh at her. But she got really embarrassed, and I was like, "Oh!" And in the moment, I didn't realize she was flirting with me, but I could tell she was embarrassed. So I was like, "Oh no, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Like, I make mistakes all the time. Sometimes I forget what shirt I'm wearing too. It happens. It was a nice meeting you and stuff." Needless to say, that person didn't talk to me again. I think she was just too embarrassed, which is funny. So, gosh, I mean, it's almost 30 minutes, and I'm only like halfway through these comments. So I'm gonna really push through these. So the next person we have is Stephanie. And Stephanie goes on to say this. When you say religious, I'm going to assume Protestant, Christian of some sort, but correct me if I'm wrong. 29-year-old, 9-wing-1 married Christian chick here. Nice. Honestly, it just means she has a lot in common with me. Honestly, if God wasn't literally here, this man good, I would probably still be single. My nine-ness took a weird back seat with him, and I pursued him just as hard. Who is this person I became? I'm afraid a lot of our age group, us girls anyway, is still somewhat caught up in I kissed dating goodbye. That's a reference to a book written by one of the Harris brothers, I think. Culture which could make things hard. Couple that with the general anxiety humanity has with being honest and spiritually intimate. Even within the church, I can see major dilemma in finding someone you can see yourself spending your life with. I really hate to say it, but do you think your church culture encourages meaningful relationships non-romantically? Why do you think you have trouble befriending the opposite sex? What seems to happen? Lastly, do you know your subtype? So much could be at play here. From a 9-wing-1 to a 9-wing-1, please don't beat yourself up here. We're all learning and figuring things out. And I know this is super cliche, but God has you exactly where He wants you to be. A lot of our life is up to us, but you haven't thwarted any plan of His. Your lack of success might be exactly what He needs you to have. My husband didn't even meet me until he was 30. A lot of great stuff there, Stephanie. A lot of great stuff there, and I could harp on a lot of that. But she references a book that was written by like this popular Christian brother duo. I think Harris. That might be wrong, but one of them wrote this book called "I Kissed Dating Goodbye," which is It was a huge comment on Christian dating culture, and a lot of people would say it was really harmful to Christian dating. And I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think the author has since kind of recanted on that book and kind of wished he hadn't said some of the things he had said. And so, but yeah, a lot of great stuff there, Stephanie. I really like that. I really like that. I'm really encouraged by that. Really awesome stuff. But we gotta try to truck through what we're looking at. Next person to talk and to comment is David. And David goes on to say this. As far as practical advice goes, the other folks here are doing a great job. Online dating is great for a lot of reasons. I also swear by spending time doing things that you value and enjoy, but maybe in a different setting with a different pool of people from time to time. That can help change your perspective on the potential singles in your current circles, and it can expose you to new people who might click with you. From a more spiritual, philosophical, emotional standpoint, I'll say this. There's no magic bullet to finding the one. This is a process, a journey. It will most likely take time. Love at first sight is a very rare. I wouldn't discount the possibility, but I also wouldn't stake my heart on finding my partner that way. And a dedicated effort towards being open to new connections with people. I'm a 9-wing-8, an INFP, and laden with some emotional baggage and trauma that I'm still working through. Opening up to new people was, and still is, hard, uncomfortable, and very scary for me. At the end of the day, two things helped me overcome that particular hurdle. Prayer, specifically that God would help me open my heart and mind to the real possibility of finding someone, that God would help me understand that I am lovable and worthy of love, something I've struggled with for basically all my life, and that God would help me find, cultivate, build the courage, resilience, humility, and joyful anticipation within myself to seek out and be open to finding a good person to share love with. To something along the lines of an epiphany that I didn't have to get it right the first time and that I probably wouldn't. And that not doing so didn't mean I was broken, evil, ugly, unlovable, or not making the grade somehow. You got this. Very, very awesome comment, David. That was very encouraging. I really liked what you had to say. Again, I could really dive into that if I had more time. I really love all this stuff. I really love how encouraging that is, though, and I really love how you're giving yourself a reminder that you can't be perfect. And I think, for me, too, that's something that I struggle with is this idea of I need things to be perfect, and if even if in dating it's not perfect, there's something wrong with me, which isn't necessarily the case. So, thank you, David. Really great, really great. And now the next person is Jolene, and she actually posted twice, so I'm going to go through this quickly. She posted a short comment that said, "I tend to connect to people by sharing books I like. This book discusses how our and others' energies affect relationships." And the book she posted a picture of is by Patsy Rodenberg. It's called Presence: How to Use Positive Energy for Success. I'm sure that's a great book. Thank you very much, Jolene. I will look that up. The next person that we're going to try to go through quickly is Mandy. I'm pretty sure I haven't been saying last names. I need to not say last names. I'm pretty sure I've been doing that. Mandy says, "Something that was important for me to come out of my shell was realizing that the things I get self-conscious about, OMG, what did I say? What did I say that? Do they think my shirt looks weird? Ugh, I'm so awkward," are way more noticeable to me than they are to other people. When you're feeling self-conscious, take stock of what you've noticed in other people. Did you look at that guy's shirt and think, "Oh, geez, what a total loser," or did you even notice his shirt? Chances are nobody's judging you anywhere near as harshly as you are judging yourself. The other thing that helped my brother was to drop expectations. Stop thinking of girls as potential girlfriends or crushes and just try to think of them as people. Think about a friend that you're comfortable with. How do you act with them? Try to bring that same energy when you meet girls. Just try to get to know them as people first to take the pressure off of yourself. Once you have a friendly relationship with them and you two can have a comfortable conversation, you can start thinking about asking her on a date. Yeah, I really like that, Mandy. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. Um, yeah, makes a lot of sense. I really like that. Really like that because I think a lot of times I get whenever I start to think about someone that I like, I just get in my head. I just start second guessing myself. I start getting anxious. I start stressing myself out. I'm like, oh, is my hair good? Do I have body odor? Is my shirt sweaty? You know, I just as soon as I start to think about liking someone, like I just start to psych myself out, and I just gotta relax. Just gotta not psych myself out. All right, we're almost through. We're almost through it all. We're almost there. The next person to give their input is Paul. Paul writes, "I'm not religious, so I can't speak to that side of things. However, here's what I do know. I used to be very shy and terrified of rejection when I was 16 to 22-ish. But I was determined to change it all. So I did. You just got to put in the yards and meet people. Do things to work on your self-confidence every day. Go to social events and speak to strangers. Meet all kinds of women on dating apps. Be playful. Have fun. And lose any expectations. Try dumb things if you need to. and get rejected so you can learn from your mistakes. I used to read all of the pickup artist books, listen to CDs, watch videos, and do anything to increase my confidence in social skills. I'd also highly recommend you consider joining a men's group. I've been doing the work for many years and it's had a profound impact on my life. You could also consider working with a coach to help with some of your challenges. There isn't a right or wrong way to meet people. Just find something that works for you. The most important part is to just put yourself out there and give yourself permission to enjoy the process. I tried to read that like Andrew Tate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, Paul, I like that, Paul. I like that, Paul. You shouldn't feel bad about not being religious. I do want that perspective on things because I do value that information. How do non-religious people view this? You know, and that makes a lot of sense. Is getting there, putting the reps, put yourself in uncomfortable conversations, and learn to be comfortable. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I know I like it. Now these next ones are shorter, so we'll address these next ones quickly because we're getting to the limit here. Katie goes on to say this. 9 wing 1 here who married my best friend. We both loved deep conversations, so it worked. He's a 4 wing 5. I know what the type 9 is in the Enneagram, but I'm really bad when it comes to knowing the other types, so I definitely need to look that up and research that some more because I don't know what a 4 wing 5 is. I'm sorry, Katie, but thank you for that. Deep conversations are good. And the next and last person is Sandy. Sandy says, am I wrong in thinking it must be very difficult for 9 wing 1 males to operate in the way our world is? Just know that reading this, I know you are a treasure. As a 9 wing 1 woman, I sadly do not have any advice to share. I do believe it's different. My husband is a 5. I also wonder if it's hard for 5 women. I don't know. That's a good question, Sandy. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know my other Enneagram types very well, so I don't know what a type 5 is. But thank you. It is hard. It is hard. It's hard for anybody. It's hard for anybody. And so that is all the comments, all the posts that people have posted in the group to give me advice about dating as a 9 wing 1, INFP, virgin, Christian. And honestly, I think all this advice, despite all the different areas that were hit on, I think it's all really good advice. And, I wanted to share it too because I think there might be, even if you're not the same Enneagram, MBTI, whatever as me, I think there's a lot of really helpful nuggets and wisdom about dating to just other people could use. I think one is we're really self-conscious as people. Two, you don't have to rush through things. You should think about taking things intentionally. 3, it's hard. But it's not easy. It's hard. You just sometimes the only way to do it is just to get in there and be uncomfortable and learn to be not uncomfortable. And that's all right. It's okay. It's part of life. So I just want to end this video. I know it's a little long. Thank you everybody for listening. If you liked this video, if you liked my Trump impression earlier, please like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe I'll do some more Trump impressions. Maybe I'll do more impressions of other people. I don't know. If you ask for it, I'll do it. But I just want to say, please don't go like searching online for these people. Don't harass them. They're just trying to be helpful. Also, this is not a invitation for other people who don't know me to bombard me with telling me how to date somebody. You know, because like it's one thing to give advice, and if you want to give advice, that's great. But it's another thing to like go in somebody's comment section and be like, "Oh, you're wrong, you're dumb, you're wrong, you should do this, blah blah blah." You know, we don't want to be disrespectful. You can give advice and be respectful, but don't be disrespectful. That's all I'm saying. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Adoption and Breakdown with your host, John Hollister. And I will see you on the next episode of Adoption and Breakdown. See you later.